It says we're live. Good morning, everyone. Welcome
Hello.
to another session of Breaking the Block. Usually,
Yay.
Sam Wicker hosts this, but today she's got company over, so I, Skye, am hosting it today. And if you don't know me, my name is Skye, obviously, and I'm a fantasy author who typically writes paranormal romance under the name SD Hegyes. And I've got some lovely guests with me today. If they would like to introduce themselves, we'll go in a circle starting that way.
Rachel.
Oh,
Oh, me? Oh, okay. Sorry, everything is backwards today, but it might just be my brain. Hello, lovelies. I am Mama Maggie Ward, independent author and stroke survivor and migraine sufferer. And I have bunches of books out, Relic of Time War series and the Pagosa Cliff series. And just launched a book on the 10th called Swords of Etheria, which is book 9. Next month, I will be launching the Spartan Chimera, which is a Greek myth retelling. And I am here because I have a 15-step world building process, a 30-question character and world building process that I like sharing with people, 15 steps of editing. And I just like to help other writers because I have struggles. So I'm here.
Lauren.
And next we have the Writing Sisters.
Hi, I'm Lauren and Nicole. We both share a YouTube channel called Writing Sisters, and I publish a collection of poetry called Ignited Melodies. And right now we're working on finishing the editorial revision for Hunted, our first book in a paranormal trilogy.
Yay, you got all out. Hey everyone, I'm Nicole. I go by Luminous Frost in the author community. I am the author of Shadows of Best, a collection of poetry. And Jenna and Lauren do the Writing Sisters. I also do the Luminous Frost channel on here, to also include my love of tarot and all things magical.
Okay, I guess that means my turn.
Yep.
I'm Rachel D. Adams, but you can call me Rach anywhere else. Anyway, I have 2 series. We had a series that we began as an urban fantasy that we've been writing over 20 years and decided, hey, maybe we should publish this. And when we started doing that, then we were like, oh, we need to do the backstory so we know what we're talking about. So we did the backstories, and now we have prequel and the main series out. I also, since becoming part of the AuthorTube community and becoming a published indie published author, I started a blog that gives advice, practical advice that a lot of times I feel like is overlooked when it comes to the publishing situation, because everybody wants to tell you exactly how to do it to get it just perfectly right, but a lot of times they don't go into what could possibly go wrong. So that's where I pick up. Anyway, there we go.
All right. I like how everyone listed what they were working on, but I'm working on so many things that I don't even bother.
All right, here's our list.
Yeah, exactly. Because I updated said list last night. It is now up to 45 items. Not all of them projects, granted, but still, like, my spinning wheel of chaotic doom is massive. It's getting to the point where I can't read it.
Hey, no. Okay, focus.
I mean, that being said, since even I did the 24-hour novel book challenge, I've only been working on the one project. I haven't switched projects yet this month.
Yes,
So
Give it time.
So that means you have a primary project.
For now, we'll see how long that lasts. When shiny project syndrome hits, it's going to be great.
Oh, I am resisting shiny project syndrome right now so bad. So bad. No, I have things to do. It is edit mo, Camp Nano, Edmo. I am editing. I get to write next month. August 1st starts the August 80K, and I'm not going to. No.
I worked on a couple projects.
Bad news.
I guess that's our topic, kind of our impromptu topic of shiny syndrome and how you get stuck between like 5 different projects instead of doing one to completion.
Yeah,
I think that is a good topic to start with because I didn't have any questions that have popped up yet. So, and I was like, I don't know what we're going to talk about today. So that sounds perfect for me.
Yeah, because for me, I got Hunted. I got 2 of my post collections. I got her post collection, and it's like, and the scroll of all your ideas. Like, flip away.
but you're editing mode. You're doing such a good job of editing. Add more stuff to your plate.
Are you getting the look? I think you're getting the look.
You're getting the look.
But you said you like to jump from project to project, so I just add more to the plate. Walk away. I love you.
Yeah.
I forgot it doesn't work on her. She can't see it.
We'll see. I'm just okay. So I'm editing a project for a friend that kind of fell on me. I'm finishing editing, formatting right now. The Spartan Chimera. I've got it out to my ARC readers. I'm getting ready to launch it next month. But I enjoy that world so much. I keep like going back and rereading it. I'm like, stop reading your own book. You've read it enough times. Stop tweaking it. It's gone. Stop. But then I have like a couple a la carte is coming up in August. And that's the project that I started last August 80K that I only got to 60,000 words. So I need to finish it this August. I'm like, no, we're finishing it this August. Stone Skin, the Western Queen, which is the second in my Gargoyle Shifter series. I've got that put in for Nano. I've got that written in. But then after seeing the Hurricane Barrel blasting through Galveston, it hit Matagorda Bay, which was just north of where Sand Dollars and Stolen Hearts is set. And so now I'm like, oh, but all of this stuff, and I could write that there's a hurricane in it as the inciting incident. I should know. and then I'm like, oh, but I need to work on the next Relic of Time Wars. And so I need to work on the Dauntless Deception. No, that one's already finished. Stop it. You've already written that one. You've already edited that one and formatted it. Just stop. And I'm like, my brain is like all over the place. I want to do all of these things all at once. And I'm like, no.
It's done though.
The migraines and the brain damage say you get 6 hours of this screen time a day. And I have too many projects.
Yep.
And it's really hard because it's like I've got my Kanban board and I've got my calendars set up for every quarter on my Kanban board. Kanban board. See, the whole Kanban board. So I've got that all set up, and I'm like, nope, sticking to it. I'm sticking to that. I'm sticking to that. I'm not going. Nope. But it's so hard. It is so hard, and it's like people who are pantser writers who do what Skye does. It jumps from project. Yes. And jumps from project to project to project. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you ever finish anything because I have to, my OCD goal brain is like, finish this thing. But then it's like, oh, we've got all of these other things to finish all of the things. And I'm like, I'm never going to sleep again. Never.
I'm kind of like Skye. We're have to work on more on project because it's weird just working on one. Like my brain still wanders. I might well just grab more on project.
For me, I'm sitting over here laughing at this entire thing because I'm like, I've got 40 plus projects I'm hopping between at all time. But I think the difference for me is that right now I don't have the money for anything publishing. I don't have the money for editing. I don't have the money for covers right now. So like I am allowed to hop between projects and not finish anything because nothing's getting finished, by the way. Because this isn't a career for me. This is just a hobby right now. I would love for it to be a career someday. Not gonna lie, like that's far end goal dreams, but I have the luxury because I do have a full-time job that I can just hop around and never finish anything because I can't publish it right now anyway. So it's fine. It's fine.
The thing is my migraines swelled up, and so I missed my April, May, and June publishing deadlines. So I'm already 3 projects behind. And OCD Goldbrain does not like that at all, which is why it's pushing me finish everything now. And I'm like, I can't.
Right. If you're not going to sleep, you just write.
I'd be spending, it's not writing. Everything that didn't get published is already written. It's already been edited. It just has like a few, it's just got like 2 of them have beta reader feedback to go through. And then I've got the final edits and formatting to do. And so, but unfortunately, the editing and formatting takes so much longer than the writing for me.
I know.
That's the part that takes the longest. And it's like, it's the part I hate. I hate that part. I want to write. Yeah. I want the endorphin of writing, because that's the feed. That's the thing that feeds us as writers, is we get that endorphin hit. And like I know Rachel, she like goes off that Cineas. She goes off on that Cineas roller coaster, just writing away. And then it's like, oh yeah, we get to edit now.
Yeah, it's a drag, because you're just like, oh, but I enjoyed writing it, but now I've got to go and put it into a certain type of plot, and then I've got to make sure that I hit all these, spots, or at least some of them, so that the reader's not like, what the world is this? So that's the part that is rough for me. And that is why we've got so much writing that's stored up, because we would get so far, and then we'd be like, let's do this, or let's do that, or what would happen if this happened? I mean, there's going to be a character that's introduced later that you'll barely see him in the main series, but it'll be introduced, and he becomes very prevalent in like later series. We have later series. Why? Because we get bored with doing the other stuff, so we move on to the next story. And it's been, I mean, because we see our writing as kind of therapeutic, and like Maggie was saying, you get that rush of something new, and so that's the reason we've got so much of it. But back also to the how many projects to focus on, is I wound up with extra project that I didn't realize I was going to end up with, because one of my partners from the past was my husband when it came to writing, and he decided to take out some stuff that he was doing and experiment on it. And so I'm like, okay, so I want to beta read that. I want to be able to open that up, for him. But at the same time, I'm like, but I've got to finish editing book 3. I have prequel number 3 as my Camp Nano Camp Nano project. And the reader magnet for our series is the Scribbling Through Summer project that I did. So basically 3 projects all in one at one time. And all of them I would like to get done by the end of the year. Actually, I want to focus on book 3 to get done by October, or before October, so that we can release in October. Right. So it's kind of like, I understand that it's a self-imposed deadline, but at the same time, if I have that deadline, I'll focus more of my energy on that particular project as I need to. But yet I still have all these other things floating around, and I know that there are some other people as they come along that are like, oh, I need this critique of this done, or I need a beta read done, or I need a blurb. I can't do blurbs. So could you just look at this blurb and see what you think? And, things like that. So I kind of have to figure out the juggling act that I'm doing all the time. And that's shiny, part of it.
And shiny syndrome it really is procrastination. Mm-hmm. It really is procrastination, distraction. Or if you're like Rachel working on other projects, it's procrastinativity. You're procrastinating by creating
productivity
other things.
But
and it's like I'm the first person to admit I hate formatting. Blech. and I hate marketing. You know, it's I'd be the first person to
how
read
does
this. And
anybody
it's like I will check, my muse will like squirrel, and away we go, away from the things we just like. And it's I'm being productive. I am being productive. I am being creative. I'm just not being productive and creative in the place I need to be at this time. And that is, I really think that is the base of everyone's shiny object syndrome is we go running after those endorphins instead of like focusing down.
Yeah, I feel like there's at least one part of the writing process, like from having an idea all the way to publishing, that somebody doesn't like. Like you said, marketing. I feel like a lot of us are like, ugh.
Nope. I've had to restudy marketing. Like I've been part of marketing in other areas since I was a teenager, really, and I feel like I can get down with the marketing side of things, but I prefer to be, you know, hermited by myself and not do any of that if I could, but having to face it head on and go, okay, well, this has got to be done.
Mm-hmm.
So I do it. Yeah, it's been kind of crazy, but yeah, it is that. It's the yes, I'm being productive, but am I really doing what I gotta do to get this done on a certain schedule? For me, it was, oh, well, I've got plenty of time, especially after the eye thing happened. I was like, well, I mean, I have an excuse now. Right. But if you use that as an excuse constantly, you're never going to get anything done. So it was a matter of making myself do a schedule, making myself have a deadline for for one project. I only do one project at a time that I have a deadline, a hard deadline for. The rest of them, okay, yeah, I can do them, but I just mainly focus on that one that I've got the hard deadline for. And that's how, so far, I've been able to keep going with the series instead of having 5 books sitting here half done.
Yeah, I agree that you have to have deadlines, because I did strategy by games. I'll play a game and be like, wait, I'll just be writing. So I feel like having deadlines or having reminders helps you not get distracted with anything.
Oh, you'll see me play games, but at the same time, I limit it to, it's like a reward for me. Like, oh, I got 5 chapters done. Okay, I can play the game for a little while, and that helps out.
Yeah, I be careful. And my reward be like, oh look, it's 5 hours later. Whoops.
Yeah, and I played the game for a little while.
There's a difference between the reward system that is good for your mental health and the shiny object syndrome, which is the distractitivity going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, procrastinativity, distractitivity, all of that. It's part of it is hardwired into us as a survival mechanism because, you know, tens of thousands of years ago, we were walking around going to pick some berries. Oh, look, there's another plant that we can eat. Oh, look, there's a nest where I can gather some eggs. So we're not in that survival mode anymore, but the little lizard brain in the back of our head still wants to run after those quick rewards.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's actually why I don't get as affected by shiny project syndrome as much, because like I let myself go ahead and get at least the initial idea out, and I type it up, and I have a section on my Notion just for like shiny new projects, because I have found that if I get at least the main idea out of that project, my brain's like, okay, we're good, and it can move on to whatever I need to focus on next.
Yeah, I started doing that. That's what we refer to as a scroll. It's a Word doc on our computer. It has all our ideas written out.
Yeah, I've got my folders. I've got my scribble notebooks, and I have my digital file because one time the goats broke in the house and ate my notebook. So,
oh
no.
Oh yeah. People don't realize that goats, practically their religion is get out of the fence. And if you're going to live in there, I'm going to live in there too. And while you're gone to town an hour away, we're just going to jimmy the back door open and come in and eat all your house plants and every piece of paper we can find. So yeah, that's happened. But it's the thing with shiny object syndrome is I think nobody has the solution for working with it that will work for anyone else. It's a thing that everyone has to figure out for themselves. And there's not like a set system. Like for me with OCD, my OCD goal brain is that I have my deadlines. I set them up. Did I shift everything from second quarter to third quarter? Yes, I did. Is my OCD goal brain happy about that? No, it's not. But it's dealing with it because it has these projects. It now has projects and stages of projects set up to do. So it's having, like Rachel sets one hard goal for herself and other soft goals. Skye does this thing where she's basically got a Christmas tree of shiny projects and she just picks one bulb off of the Christmas tree to work on at a time. And Nicole tends to write more in a line while Lauren is kind of like, ooh, let's write this. But it's everyone has their own way of dealing with shiny project syndrome. And the finding out what works for you, I think, is the most important thing that the viewers can do, that other writers can do, because it can become shiny project syndrome can be the thing that gives you imposter syndrome, that keeps you from actually ever reaching that dream of having a published book. So if it hits you, just do a quick write out of what the idea is, what the story is, what the scene you see in your head is, and put it aside. Go back to the project you're working on. And a good way to test if that has valid points is there's two sides of this coin. In the United States, we do this thing where it's like, if you come up with an idea drunk and it still makes sense sober, you should do it. Here's the thing though. Over in the UK, they do the exact opposite. If you come up with the idea sober, go get smashed. And if the idea still makes sense to drunk brain, then you should do it. So it's a really interesting thing. So you can apply it to writing, because if you've got shiny project syndrome, look at write down your shiny project, write the shiny down, put it away like a leaf or a flower, pressed in a book, and then come back and pull it out. Ooh. And if it still makes sense to you later down the road, it's going to be worth your time investment to go back to it. You don't have to do it right then when you're all high on endorphins from new project. Creativity, just if you go back to it and it's still like, this is a valid concept, I love this world, I love this character, I love these things, you've got your next project and you already have your first project out. So then the imp can't say, well, you can't finish anything, you're not a real writer. Well, look, I did finish something.
Yeah. So I got this one. This is just a regular notebook, and I did coffee confessions and other fun topics on it. And what I did was I've got it separated, and they're just projects that I'm like, ooh, I'd like to do that. Ooh, I'd like to do that. Like what you're saying. I'll just write them down in here. And then if they survive, then I might do them. And then I've got this one, which I got printed myself because I loved the little design that I did for it with Sinius's eye behind. And I'm like, okay, well, this is the one that's got all of the possible shiny ideas for the novels, for the books that I might add in a little bit later or take away a little bit later, or, things like that. So now I've got these two, and they're very thin, so I can put them in just about anything, carry them with me. And so it's a hard copy. And I love it because I'm like, that way it's out of it's like brain dumping. You're dumping it from your brain, so it doesn't bother you anymore. And you can always go back. You've got it. It's here. So you can go back to it and figure out, oh, am I going to do that or am I not going to do that? So that also to me helps out with shiny object syndrome, like what Mama Maggie was saying, you get it out and then you can continue to work on what you're supposed to be working on. And then you don't have that problem with the imp coming in and poking you.
Yeah. Rachel says, I keep what I call a scratchbook of ideas. All the story seeds have their own section in it. And as they grow, I spend 1 or 2 sprints putting notes there as a max and a brain dump. Then it goes away until I'm done with the Myrna Annals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, for those of you who work with coworkers, because I'll be running into this problem in a couple of years.
Good luck.
Is it easier or harder to stick with the same project and focus on it when you have someone else relying on you're getting your work done? Or yeah.
I'm the goal-oriented one of our group. Tina's the little devil on my shoulder. Oh, but you want to do this, and you want to talk about Kieran and Twilight. I don't know why you think you don't want to talk about Kieran and Twilight. And I'm just like, dude, we got to get book 3 done. And she's like, but. So now, right now, as we're doing this, she's on book 3. She's going to smack me. Book 3 because she knows I'm like, we gotta get book 3 done, and so yeah, but she's my temptress. She's like, oh, but this one here and this one here, and she's not wrong. I want to write those too, and we've always done that for 20. It's pretty bad habit to break after 20 years where you're just like, I just want to do this scene, or I just want to do this scene. When you're publishing, you got to be like, nah, I got to do responsible adulty thing. It's like
hi, sweetheart.
Yeah, I see you. I see you.
Oh, you should join us sometime, sweetheart. We would love to have you here too.
So,
oh my goodness,
we're doing an interview later today together. So I did at least get together for that, and we did an interview with Jenna too.
So for Laura and I, it helps with that I'm very goal oriented on trap, because Lauren will talk about an idea and somehow a scene that's only supposed to be 5 pages will end up being almost 30. It's like, Lauren, it's like that trap. But I know working with her, I know what works for her. I know talking an idea before you write it and having a reward system for her works. And that's how we did for our books.
Otherwise, nothing gets done.
Nope.
This is what she's been saying all along. But you have to admit, you had fun at that Ren Fair. You were there, right there next to me, and we were both selling books left and right, talking about our books. So,
oh goodness.
Okay. Anyone else want to talk about shiny project syndrome? Okay, let's talk about something that that has happened to me on 3 of my last publishes.
Okay.
You're getting your book up, you're getting ready to go format. You've got it all formatted, you get everything up, you upload it, you're live on KDP, and then somebody goes to read your book in dark mode. And for some bizarre reason, there's this weird formatting glitch. The letters are invisible in dark mode. Everything is highlighted in dark mode, but you can't see it in your copy.
Huh.
I have had this happen, and I don't know if it's because Kindle hates independent authors, Kindle hates Amazon, or there's weird gaps where a page will just stop in the middle of a paragraph and then start on the next page, and I'll have like a half-page gap. But it's not in the preview copy that I'm looking at, and it's not in my formatted copy.
Oh, that happens to me in my poetry book.
It's like that literally you have to dump everything you're working on and focus on fixing
Yeah. Because
that
other people
problem.
have the same issue.
Yeah, because a lot of people like to read in dark mode, and you can't read in dark mode if everything is highlighted and the letters are gray.
Huh. What are you using for formatting? Out of curiosity, because I'm curious.
I use MS Word. I use Word to format. And some of my books are fine, and some of them have this weird issue where there are sections that have this invisible highlighting when they're in white, when they're in regular mode, or the colored modes. Like sometimes you can set it to like the background will be like a pale blue. Everything is normal in the other modes. It's just when you go to dark mode that they have the white highlighting lines behind the words. Or they have weird jumps in the middle of paragraphs and random blank pages. And Amazon's like, well, you just need to fix your formatting. And I'm like, my formatting looks fine on my end. There was one document that I literally hit the command to erase all of the formatting, and literally went through and fixed the formatting page by page.
Oof.
That's gotta be frustrating.
Set it all back. 346 pages that I reformatted each page individually.
Oh my God.
And so that is the kind of thing that like it was like I was so mad. But fortunately for me, what I did was I have Calibri, so I can transfer things into any format I want. It's got a list of like 12 formats. And I put it in the Mobi in the EPUB file, and then I loaded it up into my Kindle, and I put it in dark mode. And even though it looks fine in the other 3 modes, when I have it in dark mode, I had those white lines in it again. And there was no reason for them to be there. So this time going into Swords of Etheria, I had the lead time to be able to adjust it. But for the previous 2 books, and Cat Lady and what was it? Terroreth Falling, The Shadow, Dust Shadow, Allies of Dust, and Cat Lady, I had to go back and after the book was published and fix these formatting errors. And it was just, I was so frustrated that I was like just done with writing. And it was frustrating. I don't know. And I was talking to someone. I belong to Indie Author Support Group on Facebook. And I'm not the only one having these issues with putting documents in. And the thing is none of us use the same program.
Oh,
right.
There are people using other programs who are also having these weird glitchy things. And it's like, is it because we're indie authors? Is it because, you don't want to go down that conspiracy theory rabbit hole, but it's like,
I haven't even thought to check. I admit.
I wonder if it's like an issue with like KDP or just because you're using Word, like.
That sounds like a KDP issue if it's other people having different programs.
Because people using Vellum and
Atticus
something. Maybe it's Atticus. But no, there's a whole thread of people in my indie author support group that are talking about weird glitchy issues they're having with their books.
Interesting.
And another thing is your print file and your EPUB file cannot be the same file. It has to be different files. But Kindle Help will tell you just upload the file and we'll reset the formatting, and they don't do that.
Yeah, so when I first published Shadows of Best, first copy got for, the offer was fine. But then when my sister bought a copy, she showed me that the book had been printed weird, that some of the words had, shifted. So there was, one word on that page that went to the other poem, this is weird.
Or that you would have, these weird gaps in between
Right.
pages.
Yeah.
It wasn't my copy, it was the copy people were buying. I gotta fix that.
I mean, the only thing that you can do when it comes to stuff like that is just keep getting in touch with somebody until you get somebody that gives a shit, or excuse me, cares.
You're fine.
Sorry.
On my channel, we are allowed to cuss, just so you know.
Okay.
I am very respectful of other people's channels, and I try not to, but on mine, I don't give a fuck.
I have tried, as Jen calls it, the snarky juice this morning, and it's just not kicking in yet. So yeah, when it came to Vela, whenever something like that happened, it was inevitable. Same people, same program, same, or at least I assume in the same department, 2 totally different responses from KDP. Weird. So, yeah, I've had wonderful customer service help from KDP. I've had horrible, I don't care help from KDP. Mm-hmm. It's all your fault. No, it's not. I've done the exact same thing every single time. And and here we are. Your programming has completely garbled everything. What's going on? So yeah, unfortunately we are stuck with having to just keep on and keep on and keep on until they help us get it right, or we find somebody that cares to help us get it right. I don't mind going back and I do mind it, but I know that it's my responsibility to get published to make sure my stuff looks right or it works with your programming. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm willing to go back and do the extra work. But if you're just telling me, you're not giving me any help, you're not telling me what could be wrong, that would go along with your coding situation, then that's not good customer service. So I'll move on to the next person. That's the only thing I can tell you is moving on to the next person. Same complaint, and you get a different customer service rep, and suddenly they have an answer for you.
Yeah. Jenna mentioned that too. She had to message KDP support for both books 1 and 2, and all she knows is they fixed it.
Yeah, they won't tell you how.
Right, cool.
A lot of times, but it sounds like a them problem. They need to go in and fix it.
Ooh, that is a good point, Sam. Want to push indie authors to using KDP only formatting tools? Conspiracy theory.
Well, it's Amazon. Amazon is to go on Amazon Unlimited now. If you have a book in Amazon Unlimited, with their new terms and services, you are limited to Amazon Unlimited. They are now really, they are not happy that authors, even though they're putting things behind paywalls, are going onto these other platforms because they want all the monies.
I've heard that from Vela authors too.
And they aren't enforcing it yet. They aren't enforcing it yet, but yeah, and Amazon is going to start getting stricter and stricter because there's I shared it in a group that I was in. One of the audiobook authors actually had this happen to one of her authors. Is she was in Unlimited in KU and also on Barnes and Nobles, and they kicked her from the platform.
They've always been exclusive with the Kindle Unlimited, though. Yeah. You're not supposed to be on any other platform.
Anything
else. It's always been part of the terms and service.
They are starting. They had that thing that as long as it's behind a paywall, we'll tolerate it. Now they're not.
Oh well, it's always been in their terms and service that you're only.
It's been in the terms of services, but they were tolerant of people of things being behind a paywall, and now they're not.
Yeah, my understanding was on KU you can't be anywhere else, but on Vela, what they did was they were like, okay, well, you can have this somewhere else, but it has to be behind a paywall. You can't can't do it anywhere else. But now some of the authors are talking about that they're getting, again, you can't substantiate it, but at the same time, that many people talking about it, saying that they're having trouble. Yeah, they're having trouble with their Velas.
For tin hat.
When, we've got to get the tin hat on.
Well,
I don't know. It's
the thing is,
unusual.
I got invited to Bella with the Veda because someone who was with Inkit went to work for Bella, and they read my books, and they were like, "Come to Bella. We're doing this thing." And so I was with Vela since the beta. I was in Vela a year before anybody else I knew was in Vela. And that was when the platform was very, very small. And the thing is behind the scenes, they were trying to buy Royal Road, which is a huge platform. And then they ended up not getting it. And honestly, I think that's part of the reason that Vela was just there so that they could roll Royal Road into it.
I mean, that makes business sense.
And you know, I'm not on Vela anymore because of some of the complete lack of support for the platform and the way the entire platform use base shifted to and got completely inundated with one particular genre. And every other genre got pushed into this tiny little, it's like 8 genres sharing 10% of the platform. And then literally tens of thousands of books got thrown in there all at once. And there's more romance and erotica books on Vela than all other genres combined.
Yeah, they were like trying to shift ours to erotica. They had it listed as erotica. I'm like, no, that's not what this is, because it was the contemporary stuff that we were writing.
Yeah,
and it wasn't even paranormal romance. It was a romance, but it was not. I mean, there's a big difference in my brain between having a plot focused solely on sexual encounters versus a plot that actually has a plot, and then you have a few sex scenes in there every once in a while.
If you have a detailed, if your smexy time is detailed, it is now getting pushed into erotica.
They're putting it into erotica, period.
Because of restrictions in other countries. Because there's literally like 25 countries in the world where anything past like fade to black is banned. So... 3 different things, but they're lumping them.
Right.
Yeah, they're lumping everything together now. So it's the limitations. It's because they're trying to have a global platform.
But the other thing with KDP that's annoying for us is that it's not very accessible. So a lot of times they'll tell us there is something visual, and it's like, that doesn't help us because we can't see it. And we have to waste like 2 days trying to figure out this one tiny detail that they don't point out.
Or you're just trying to keep uploading the topic.
Right.
That you fixed it. Like, error. You're just like, bang my head against the wall.
I just, there's a lot of shifting going on right now. And we're especially going to be seeing this over the next probably 2 years. I know that self-publishing with Dale has been talking about this. There's this thing going on with Spotify. They bought Findaway Voices, and then they started doing these things where they were using the voice audiobooks from Findaway Voices to train their AI readers. And the voice actors were not getting credit or payment for this. And so yeah, there's with AI encroaching into writing and the fact that they're now getting AI books published, we're going to be, there's going to be a lot. It's the platforms. I think all of them are going to be going through some growing pains, and it's, you know, they're going to be buckling down on the exclusivity because, you know, they want to make the money. And
I believe they're having to hire a lot of people who have more expertise in AI in what they can do and what they don't want to do. I think they want to offer both. Because and the reason I see it this way is because you've got the people who use help with AI to write their books and stuff, and some, you know, and then you've got people who are original writers, and there's a huge market for both. So they don't want to get rid of, you know, one or the other. However, they will have to expand their employee base to be able to handle the differences. So
Yeah, unfortunately, the way our laws work right now is if what they consider a significant change is made to an original form of art, then the new piece then belongs to the new creator, and which is the AI coders.
mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it's the significant part is not a defined quotient anymore. And they say that it's like 25 to 30%, depends on where you're at. But the problem is, you know, if you have 100,000 word books, if you change the names of the characters and the places, that fits that quota.
Right.
Just by volume.
Mm-hmm.
And theoretically, they could just take your story, change all the names, change all the places, and literally leave everything else the same. And they could potentially hit that threshold and be able to say, oh, it's an original work. I changed it. You just changed the names of the places.
It's like plagiarism.
Yeah.
2.0.
You know, and it's like
Yeah.
it's like the difference between changing red to green in a piece of artwork.
Mm-hmm.
It's what is the percentages, and it's like, are we really just going to look at the percentages? And it's like, that's why the law is so gray, because where does creative element versus copies come into play?
Yeah.
And right now, honestly, the lawmakers are just scrambling to catch up.
We have lawmakers that have been in office way too long that don't know how to use social media, let alone how to handle AI, which is so sad.
Yes.
We need experts that understand what's going on, at least.
Yes. Let's see. Vanilla Ice versus Queen Belly when it came down to single half tone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
That was tough.
I've seen the other biggest issue, like, not only using AI to, like, have people write stories, but using AI to, like, make the cover for your book, and then having images and the cover being stolen from, like, famous art or just other people's books.
Right.
Yeah, I use a program called Leonardo AI for my covers. And I have the filter in it that says not other artist. I have that clicked on. And I will make a very bad sketch and scan it in and put it into Leonardo, and they will convert my really bad sketch into like something. Or I'll spend like days putting in filters and non-filters and just going back and forth, and I'll generate like 100 different images, tweaking it and going back and forth with it. But it's when you have art sites that give you free art, and you can set an AI to only use free art or to only use generated art, versus art sites where you can say, I want Starry Night, but with cats.
Well, yeah.
And you can literally, some of these programs, you can literally type in. And one of the things they use is they will use the copyright thing of, it's Disney managed, the only thing the Overlord D has done that's good for artists lately is they managed to get copyrights extended. It used to be the life of the artist. Then it used to be the life of the artist for 7 years, for 20 years. Well, now it's 70 years. So, because they want to keep Mickey Mouse is theirs. They want to keep Mickey Mouse, and that's why they keep fighting this thing to keep it extended, because Walt Disney's been dead for a long time.
Oh yeah.
But Disney,
ironic, isn't it?
Mhm.
yeah, but they also they do so many underhanded things, like what they're doing to the former Marvel artist.
Yeah,
People
that's
who
messed
created
up.
all of these iconic Marvel characters. Disney is now going after them and saying, "We bought Marvel. You can't represent your own artwork anymore."
Yeah.
And that is just so wrong.
Also, and this may be something that we need to bring up for another topic at another time, because it's getting close to 11.
Yeah.
But I also would like to go into the witch hunts that are happening in our world right now, when it comes to AI art, and not just AI art, but AI period. Because I am unfortunately seeing on social media, lots of people are like, you stole this from somebody. You stole this idea from somebody. You stole this from somebody. This is AI. This is AI. This is AI. Oh, you can tell because if you look at the lines and stuff like that. No, that's just bad or a mistake in the design that they did. It has nothing to do with AI, but they're immediately going, it's AI. You can obviously tell. No, you can't.
There's
And so people are getting canceled, or they're being told, I'm not buying your stuff because there's a possibility that it could be AI. And you're just like,
there's a whole movement right now in Book Talk and Bookstagram and Book Talk, where people will not buy a book, will not read a book if it has an AI cover.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And my entire Relic of Time War series has AI covers. Is it
stolen from another artist? No, but because
but because I pay for my daughter was paying for Leonardo AI for me, and I used it to create 18 covers. If I went to an artist and said, I need 18 covers for a book,
That's a lot of money.
I would be looking at a minimum for a print book, ebook, and social media banner. I'm looking at $500 per book.
Yep,
at least.
So I'm looking at a $9,000 payout.
Whew.
And I'm not embarrassed to say I made $158 last year.
For instance, my book covers cost me $350 each. They are discounted, which means that if I didn't have that discount, they would be over $500 each.
Dang.
So we saved up, or I saved up, to be able to get it started. Then we went to events, and we paid for 2 out of events. So it's like, right now, I would really love to get a book cover done by Donica for my new reader magnet that I'm coming out with. That's what big thing has been recently talking about. And she's excited. She would love to do that book cover. However, I can't afford her to do a reader magnet right now, because a reader magnet's not going to bring in any money, up front. Pragmatically, over time, yes, it will. Because people will come in and be like, oh, I'm interested in this book, and and it's great, but at the same time, I have 2 other covers that I need to purchase.
Right.
And I don't want to change the artist or the style or anything, because it's a full series, and so these are things that a lot of people don't think about, and they're immediately attacking other people for doing something that's not. But again, it's like, but you can't tell all the time, and yet they're getting attacked, and I think that that's not right either.
Yeah, well, the Spiff Box thing is going on right now, and it's hundreds of books, and people are going through them, and like if they're like looking at the covers, and if it's a AI, if they think it's an AI cover, they won't buy the book. They won't download the book.
My
And
favorite-
it's like,
Go ahead.
it's a struggle for those of us who are like, yeah, well, we don't have the funds or the talent to make our own book covers or to buy book covers. And it's, I don't know what the answer is. And it's like, the other thing is sadly right now in authordom, in indie authordom, we are all using different levels of AI. If you use a spell checker, you are using a low-end AI. If you use a grammar checker that checks for grammar, conciseness, colloquialisms, things like that, you are using a low-level AI. And so
And where is that line drawn? Because if you're
Wait.
using Grammarly, that's AI too. So it's just like, I mean, even Word has AI in it. You just don't see it that way. Exactly.
Right. You see it as A. You don't see it as there's this computer writing my entire book for me.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, people don't realize the absolute pervasiveness of AI in their culture, and in like everything we do, like the marketing. Like, you know, you'll like Google something and you'll start getting ads for it. That's a form of AI. If you use maps, any kind of Google Maps or on the map apps on your phone,
I mean,
that's a form of
algorithm marketing.
That's
you
a
know?
form of AI. I mean,
Right.
literally what we do on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and Twitter, Twitter, whatever, trying to keep our book stuff on the top of the feed. Basically, we're trying to hook the AI into keeping our stuff up, because I mean, like on TikTok or Instagram, you have this 20-minute window when your stuff is on the top, and sometimes, depending on the time of the day, it's as low as 2 minutes. And then your followers might not see your stuff again for a week. So you put something up, it's there for 2 minutes, and then they don't see it again until a week later when they're having a slow feed day and they start recycling things from people that are followed earlier. On Facebook, you've got a couple hours to a couple of days that your stuff will be on top. And so it's really challenging, because the algorithms are choosing what other people see. And it's, you know, if you're not buying these marketing packages, then it's like double hard for you to keep your stuff on the top. Because sadly, all of these platforms we use all of the time, every day, they're about making money. Even YouTube is about making money.
Yeah. All right. I hate to pull us away from this topic, because it is a good topic, and I think Rachel's right. It needs to be like its own subject in another.
I got my notebook out.
I wrote down AI witch hunts for that purpose.
There you go. Okay.
Is anyone having any creative blocks currently that they want to talk about in the group session, real quick, before we wrap up?
I have one, but it's not quit, so it'd probably be for another episode.
Okay.
It's dealing with the concept of when you're looking for someone to edit or do covers or better read, and you pay them. What do you do when they take your money and they say they did what they said, but they didn't do anything?
Ouch.
Ooh.
And this is not to our current editor. It's stuff to have in the past.
A lot of times, buying services from Fiverr, actually.
Yeah, like Eva said, you could drop a review on them for poor services. I do a lot of swapping because I have zero budget, and I have had a situation with books where, you know, I swapped and I literally, like in May when I was in April and May when I was having headaches because I wanted to get Chimera out in June, I beta swapped with like 11 people. I wrote my reviews on everybody's books, got them back to them. And 2 people got back to me out of the 11, and I had sent them their stuff. And 3 of the people reached out to me and they're like, I'm very sorry. I'm having family issues right now. And I was like, I totally understand that. You know, one person lost their job and they were crazy for a job hunt because their spouse had also lost their job recently. So it's, you know,
yeah, this is a topic unto itself.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's a hard thing. And, you know, we all understand that life happens. But if you take payment
Hi, Felicia.
if you take a payment or you do a barter and you uphold your end and they don't uphold their end or they don't do the job, then you need to say, you either need to give me your money back or unfortunately, and if you can't make them give you your money back, then it's just a lesson learned and you have to walk away from them. And like
Eva said, you can leave a review if you are very clear about what you wanted and they did not deliver. And to me, if it's like somebody that volunteered and to beta read, because same thing with Maggie. On average, we have at least 6, if not 8 beta readers volunteer, but we wind up with half that who actually get it done. So what I'll do is I'll send out a notice to let them know, you've only got a certain amount of time at this point. Just let me know if you can't do it, because you can always volunteer later to beta read something else. And then if I still don't get anything back, then I just make sure that I mark that on the list and I don't use them again because they're volunteering. So honestly, you don't want to say anything about that if they're volunteering and they just can't get to it.
Right.
So that's what I.
But the thing is that they said they did it, and then you do put it on publishing, and then you get all these people saying, "Hey, how do you not catch all these errors in your book?"
Yeah, I think the difference too is that if you are under contract versus if it's volunteer, it's a little. There's avenues you can follow more so with anything that's under contract, like if you were doing through Fiverr, because the fact that you paid for a service that was rendered, you are under contract to get that service at what they said they were going to do. So if they said they were going to do it and then they didn't, obviously review them, but also go after them. Like, make sure you stay on top of it and say, hey, you didn't give me the service that you told me, and get your money back.
Yeah. Like I had to send, because I had a project kind of fall on me this week. I sent Rachel an email almost immediately saying, I'm not going to get your beta read done this week.
Right.
I will get to it, because the thing that popped up was like someone else's book that I really I really have to get this, because she's already got her pre-sale up. So this has got to be done. Snap, snap, snap. We have 20 days.
Oof, that's a hard time.
And it's like, so I'm trying to get it back to her in 5 days. So if it
small window.
I sent Rachel a thing and said, I'm so sorry.
See, my book's not even due out for release until October. So I'm like, do what you got to do,
Yeah. So but if you're swapping, if you do swaps like I do, just be honest with the person that you're swapping with, saying, I can't get this done. And, and I had someone email me and say, did you forget about my beta read? And I was like, oh, I did forget about it. Let me do that for you right now. and it's like, it's like, if you're paying for a service, that service needs to be provided. And, and it might be a situation like people like have tried to take advantage of me because I have brain damage. I have memory issues. And they've been like, oh no, I did exactly what you said. But, document, keep everything documented. And, if they agree to something, if you've got the emails, if you've got text messages, point out to them that, yeah, I know you didn't, because here's my receipts.
Yep.
And unfortunately, sometimes you got to be a little Karen to hold up the receipts and be a little Karen-ish to get people to do what they want to do. Because if you have a disability, people will try to take advantage of you. I don't know why they automatically assume anybody with any kind of a disability is inherently unintelligent, but they do that.
And I feel like that's kind of what's going on, is that they see they're working with blind writers. It's like, well, I can say I did it and they won't know, and I'm still underpaid.
Yeah.
I agree with Eva. I believe that needs to be handled. Request a refund and threat a review.
Yep.
You specifically are perhaps even more dependent on your proofreader than a seeing author would be, and it sounds that they were taking advantage.
Agree.
Being a Karen, well, if you have to, you have to. If you're justified, you're justified.
Yeah.
I don't feel like justified complaints is the same thing as being a Karen. I mean, I understand we're just joking around, but it's
unfortunately,
it's justified
anytime
versus not justified.
Anytime you put on that I'm angry, and I'm an angry woman attitude, everyone goes, Karen.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a big difference between like being assertive and trying to get your point across and just being an asshole.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. But
Eva
I
did
think
ask if it was someone in the community that we need to possibly avoid in the future.
Like, tell your friends, don't
use this person because blah 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 blah.
Just be a quiet bringer of knowledge.
Yeah, I'm all about outing for someone if they don't do what they say they're going to do. I'm petty like that though.
But isn't petty? Is it really? Because these are our livelihoods, and a bad review on an indie author's books, it hurts.
It does.
It hurts bad, and it's like, okay, one of Summon Enemies Are Blue. I consider it to be one of the better books. I consider it to be one of the better books in the Pagosa Cliff series for the Wild and Enemy Bakery. But I got a review that I got dinked on a review because they were like, well, why wouldn't the police do this thing? And I'm like, well, police aren't going to tell someone they aren't going to tell people about an active investigation.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not going to tell everyone about an active investigation. And it's like, so yeah, but that's just it was just a perception thing. I got dinked a star one time because, two characters were arguing and one pointed out to the other that a third character was a virgin. And how would you not know? And the whole gist of the argument was that it was two cousins arguing, was that the cousin that was the husband of this character was so insensitive and not paying attention. And there was a whole list of things like, she made you this birthday cake, she made you these custom cookies, she did everything you wanted for you and everything, and you were out cheating on her the entire time. And that was the whole gist of the argument. But the person reading it, the only thing they took away is that it was mentioned that she was a virgin.
Wow.
And it was like, okay, you've missed that one word, and you've missed the whole point of this 3-page
getting
argument.
slapped with the point and then missing it.
Yeah, it's like it's like a 3-page argument that these cousins are having about the main character and her sister, and basically the fact that they married the wrong sisters, and that one just married the baker because he didn't want his cousin to have her.
I like
it's literally
we got drama.
It was drama because their whole dynamic was
really
that they were
trying
always
to
competing with each other and always trying to take what the other had, and then it screwed up both of their lives. And as a side effect of screwing up both of their lives, it screwed up the main character and her sister's life. But it was like it's a very interesting dynamic that there will be people that will be offended, but like the things that authors that we like by concepts in books, but the things that we can prevent that can keep us from getting star-dinked is our editing process, is the formatting process, the proofreading process. And if you pay someone to do these for you and they don't do it, then you've basically given them money to hurt you.
Right.
Because people will DNF. Like if they, like there are people and they're like, if I find a misspelled word in the first chapter, I'm DNFing the book.
Right.
And,
yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, but they do that.
They do that, and they'll 1-star you. If the formatting, if there wasn't enough room on the sides of the pages when I got the print book. What? What?
I guess they're disappointed they couldn't write in the margin.
It's you can find some of the craziest reviews, like 1- and 2-star reviews on Goodreads. On formatting, proofreading, and just people being like complete Karens about, like why would you buy a horror novel if you don't read horror? Why are you reviewing a horror book and saying in your review, I don't read this genre? I mean,
right. Why are you reading it?
Right.
Why are you reading it?
You know me. You've seen it. It one of my, and at least it was a 3-star, I guess. But one of the readers said, I don't usually read male romance, so I couldn't get into that. And I'm like, one, it's not just a male romance, but okay. And 2, I make sure that the one scene that is in the first book is at the end, and it's easy to skip that part. But okay. And 3, why did you? It was an ARC copy. Why you knew going in? Why did you even volunteer?
Why volunteer? You don't read it.
Yeah. That's its own topic too, because that happens a lot, and I'm guilty of that. There's been times where I've read something that I don't normally read, and I'm just like, I probably should have read this, but it sounded interesting.
Yeah, I mean, but if I find myself in that kind of a situation, I'm not going to give it a bad critique, right?
Right.
Yeah,
So that's a me problem.
I liked about it.
Yeah. All right. I hate to do this, but we're going to have to wrap up. We are 15 over the hour already.
Yeah.
Whoops. To be fair, we didn't start like our mini session of what we're going through until almost 9 o'clock. So, but all right.
Well, no, we started with talking about shiny object syndrome, which is a very valid block. It is a very valid thing to block people from moving forward because they've got distraction and procrastinativity going on.
And I feel like we were on topic in that way too, because we did that with this entire stream. We went from one topic to another. So we're good. All right, if everyone wants to go ahead and give their outros, we'll start with Rachel and we'll work our way backwards from last time.
Okay. I am Rachel D. Adams. I am co-author to the Dragon Tasker series and the Life and Loves of a Dragon, all about the same main characters that are weaving their lives through time and through different worlds. And I also help out other authors as much as I can. Next.
I am Nicole, aka Frost. I am the writer for Janital Publishing with Lauren, which is on our website, also Tuffy. Also the any author for Shazabis, a collection of poetry.
And I also published a collection of poetry called Ignited Melodies, and trying to do more helping to promote indie authors through my channel and also Instagram, where you can find me at author EL Summers. Next.
I'm Mama Maggie Ward, independent author, stroke survivor, migraine sufferer, and I write books. So, yes, hello, check out my Amazon page. And if you don't have a Kindle or don't support Amazon, you can pick me up on my Ko-fi at Buy Me a Coffee, and I will send you an ebook of your choice. Or hit up my Inkit page, where I keep all of my rough drafts for free, because I understand how bad the economy is and that not all of us can afford Kindles right now. Thank you for having me. It was fun.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for showing up today, to my lovely co-hosts today, as well as everyone who has been in the chat. If you don't know, my name is Skye. I'm a fantasy author who typically writes paranormal romance under the name SD Hegyes. And the topic today was perfect because I am greatly affected by Shiny Project Syndrome and forever attacked by it, actually. So, yeah, it's been lovely chatting with everyone today. And we're going to go ahead and sign off here now. And I'm going to click the right button and end the stream. Here we go. Bye, everyone.
Bye.